Welcome to Cooking with Lori. Today we're going to do new and improved rice flatbread, which is one of our favorite gluten-free ways to have a bread kind of thing. I am Lori Kornblum, and I'm coming to you from Wisconsin Institute of Nutrition at www.nutritioninstitute.com. You can see our logo there. Look for it everywhere. You can find the recipe for rice flatbread on our website at nutritioninstitute.com/rice-flatbread. You can also find it in our book, Extraordinary Foods for the Everyday Kitchen. You can see that our copy of the book is extremely well used because not only did we write it, but we use it all the time. The recipe is on page 143 if you want to follow along. So first what we're going to do is get out our ingredients. I see that we need brown rice flour, white rice flour, sea salt, safflower oil, and some water. So I happen to like Bob's Red Mill rice flour. We do not get any money from Bob's Red Mill, but I do like the company, so I'm giving them a shout out. I have sea salt in my little salt container. We buy it in bulk, so I just put it in the container. Now I have some water. Now I have some safflower oil. It is very important when you get safflower oil to get 100% expeller pressed safflower oil. We happen to use Hain, but there are many other brands. One trick to cooking this rice flatbread is to get your pan hot before you actually cook it. We have an electric stove, so I put it on about 3.5, which for this stove is plenty hot. So I've just measured out a half a cup of brown rice flour. You can see you don't have to be too specific. Also measured out a half cup of white rice flour, and now I'm just mixing them around. And I'm also going to add the salt. The salt is a teaspoon. This little measuring that I have has been previously measured to be half a teaspoon, so I dump in 2 of those. And I mix it up. So now I take my measuring spoons and I measure out 3 tablespoons of safflower oil. That's 1. Dumped in the second one, and that's number 3. And now the trick is you mix everything up really quickly. So you can see that I'm mixing. So now I've totally mixed it up, and you can see that it's like little granules of, it's with the oil, the salt, and the rice flour mixed together. So now what I'm going to do is add water, and I added a small amount at a time. I've just added a little bit of water, and I'm going to mix it up. And I can see that it's still a little dry, so I'm going to add some more. The goal is to get it to a really pasty consistency. You can see when I pick it up with my hands, I can kind of mush it up a little bit. It looks gross, but it tastes really good. If it's too dry, then add a little more water. If it's too wet, then add a little more flour until you get that consistency. Now what you're going to do is you're going to make it into little patties. First, what you have to do is put some oil in the pan so that the oil is hot. Now have oil in the pan. You can see it's not a huge amount, but it's enough, and it's very hot, so it won't get too absorbed in the rice flour. Now you can see that I've made little patties and shaped them into flatbreads, and they are now cooking in the, now we're doing part 2 of Cooking with Lori rice flatbread. As I said in part 1, this recipe can be found in our book, Extraordinary Foods for the Everyday Kitchen, on page 143. We are at the point where we have mixed this together and we are cooking the rice patties. I should say the flatbreads. Here's our book. If you haven't seen it before, it is available on Amazon and from many other sources, and it's also on Kindle. So now you can see that the rice flatbreads on one side are a nice golden brown, and I'm flipping them over to cook on the other side. This entire process has taken less than 10 minutes. So it's really easy, and if you're looking for something that's kind of between a bread and a cracker and gluten-free, these are really wonderful. While the rice flatbreads are cooking, I should also mention that we have our other cookbook, Feast Without Yeast, which is our original cookbook. This is not all gluten-free. Extraordinary Foods is gluten-free totally. However, most of the recipes are gluten-free, and you can get this from Amazon or many other sources. It is also available on Kindle. Now we're going to check to see if they're done. I'm going to see if that's done on the other side. Yes, it's just done. So now I'm going to scoop them out and put them on a plate. They are on the plate. This recipe actually makes about 7 rice flatbreads depending on how big you make them. And it is delicious, and serve them hot. Bon appetit, and come visit us at nutritioninstitute.com.